Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Sunday. I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Sunday, guys. Just want to chat with you guys about a few different things. Let's start with acceleration. So, many of you are experiencing, definitely myself, you guys are experiencing an acceleration in the spiritual. I'm laughing because it's crazy. It's like we were waiting and waiting and waiting for certain things, and now that the acceleration is here, it's almost like we're trying to hold on to our seatbelts, because it's like, wait a minute, right? So acceleration just means that basically whatever promise that God have shown you, due season, visions, etc., at some point you were at a standstill. Let it be the wilderness or just a silent season, or God needed to transform you in certain areas or give you a different perspective of the promise. Whatever reason that you were sitting still, but now all of a sudden you feel this acceleration in the spiritual realm. Things are picking up and they're moving along very swiftly. And even though these things are aligned, even though they are, it's not even stressful, right? Because it's so in alignment that it's not even stressful, meaning it's not like resistance or one thing contradicting the other. It's literally an acceleration, but it feels like I need to hold on to my seatbelt. Like, whoa, wait a minute, this is... And it's in your spirit. It's an acceleration. So, whatever reason that had you on hold, God has now come back and say the time is now. But the acceleration is so... it's not even heavy. It's not frightening, but it's a little like I can't come up with a word for it. But in saying that, you will also notice that there's an acceleration picking up in the physical realm. So it's almost like it's parallel in a sense of how fast it's moving. It's almost like a railroad track. Each side is like the train. I think trains. The wheels like on different sides, but the pace is the same. So one is spiritual and one is physical. And so you're trying to keep up with both. Basically trying to keep up with both is literally going to overwhelm you. So you have to get to the point where you recognize, like, wait a minute. All of a sudden, things are picking up in the physical realm. Everybody needs you. Right? Everybody's calling you for something. Everybody wants you somewhere. There's a lot going on, right? They're calling you to come into work. They're calling you, there's just a lot of demand physically. Be very, very careful. Be very, very careful that you are tapped in, that you are recognizing the distractions in the physical realm. Okay? Now, these aren't the attacks that happened before the acceleration. The attacks that happened prior to the acceleration is the enemy trying to knock you off of your game. So he hits you with, in my case, the loss of my brother, the loss of Mr. Steve, several clients, cancer scares, just constant, oh my goodness. January and February was just and for you that may not be the case, but it's something that shook you. Could have been a heartbreak, a divorce, etc., etc. Okay, so not that. Those are attacks that will come prior to acceleration or prior to the breakthrough that will knock you off of your game. You never get back up. Supposedly you never get back up. And the enemy has conquered you. All right, so you've mastered that. You've pushed past all of the attacks. And now you're at a season where, because you pushed past the attacks and the enemy couldn't stop you, acceleration is here. But now there's an acceleration in the physical realm where people are needing, calling, demand. It's just one thing after another. Be very careful that you are in tune to what it is you're supposed to be doing in the spiritual realm. Because if you're not careful, the things in the physical realm will have you trying to fix this, do whatever it's calling for, whatever they're needing in the physical realm cannot have your attention right now. Not right now. Not right now. Everything that you're giving needs to be in the spiritual realm. Paying attention to the acceleration. What is God saying to you? What does God need you to do? Not what does your cousin need you to do. What does God need you to do? Your cousin is going to have to take the back seat right now. Cuzzo, I love you, seriously, but there's some things going on right now. I have to really press in spiritually. I can't be there this time. I can't do it this time. But, I'll holler at you when I can, blase, blase. But a lot of people are going to miss it right here because that people-pleasing seed, that fear of not knowing what God is doing, that acceleration can be scary. It can not scary. Well, it can be scary because you just like, wait a minute. Okay, I knew you said this, but I thought it would be pacing along. But this is now like, no, you asked for it. Come on, let's go. It's ready. There's no need for us to stop because I prepared you in the delay. I prepared you in the wilderness. So what are we stopping for? It's almost like taking a trip. Right? You're driving, and you know how you have those folks who want to stop every 2 minutes to use the bathroom. No. You're not stopping here. You had your pit stop. Your pit stop was in the wilderness. Your pit stop was in transformation season. Your pit stop was in whatever delays that you were complaining about. But now we're driving straight to the destination. We ain't got time to stop. But what happens? Distractions come in. That flat tire. The car's is the radiator is running hot. Right? All these are your cousins. Calling you about babysitting and doing this and doing this and doing this. You got to be tapped in to what it is that God needs you to do spiritually. If you try to do both, it's going to overwhelm you. If you try to do both, something in the spiritual room is going to go lacking because the spiritual room needs your undivided attention. So recognize the distractions, recognize the convictions, because God will tell you like, okay, well, yeah, I told you to start a something. I told you that, but I really wanted you to start that when you was waiting on me. Or I may have given you that vision that's going to be something you do after you've arrived to due season. But right now, I need you to put that to the side. Right now, I just need you to put in your seatbelt, buckle in, focus in the spiritual realm so you can catch every download what I'm telling you to do. Because whatever I'm telling you to do, it has to be done as we travel along. Rapidly and all, it has to be done. Leave the distractions behind. You're going to miss it. Stop answering that phone for every call. Stop telling people yes for every time they call you or whatever they need you to do or wherever you're at. I can't tell you guys how many people are so annoyed with me right now because they keep calling my phone for different reasons. Excuse me. But God has given me the clear downloads on who to answer, right? Not that I'm just ignoring them. I might shoot them a text back and say, hey, what's up? They don't like the text, so they're annoyed, whatever. Listen, right now I have to. The old me would have been like, oh, okay, now they're annoyed. I got to call back to see what they want. But see, God already know what they want. It's not even like it's a bad thing. It's just not a you thing right now. Says my mind toggle back and forth like, Lord, can I just call back and say no? Because if you call back and you think you're going to call and say this, but no, they're going to be pulling at you. I don't need anybody pulling at you right now. I need you completely tapped in. The downloads that you're going to get right now are crucial. So right now, it's about obedience over sacrifice. Why are you concerned about someone's going to get annoyed because you can't answer. Who are you really worshiping here? If I say that you are in a posture right now where you can only be tapped in spiritually in things, and I don't care if you've done it all your life. I don't care if you do it every day. Right now is not the time. Right now is not the time for you to be helping, right? It's a good thing, but it's not a God thing. Not right now. So you mean to tell me that you're going to have a hissy fit because you can't do this or do this in a matter of weeks or months when you've done it all your life? You've done it all your life. Job well done. But this is selfish time. I need you tapped in. Turn the phone off. Don't respond. Don't check emails. Whatever it is. If they're calling you, listen, take it to God. Take it to God. Because I can't give you anything right now. Because you probably ain't going to listen anyway. Harassing my nerves. Take it to God. Period. Obedience over sacrifice. For those of you who are intimidated by this acceleration, you got to be sure you're connected. The minute you're not connected, and whatever connected is for you, you're not reading your word, you're not, whatever connected is for you. Because the physical distractions are going to keep you away from that too. So if you notice, let's just say you have a routine that, I don't know, 10 a.m. is when you read your word, right? This is what you've been doing for a long time. Okay, now that this acceleration is happening, you realize that the people who are like coming at you or needing something from you, it's somehow affecting that time frame. So someone called you at 9:55. Oh my goodness, my tire is flat and the kids, and you're just like, okay, I'll do it. And you go do it, and then when you get back home, you forgot about it. You got to cook dinner, and a day passed, 2 days passed, and you are so unplugged. And it's like, you still feel what's going on in the spiritual realm, but now it's freaking you out. Like, wait a minute, hold up. I know God said it would be big, but this feeling is like, it's overwhelming because it's almost like, woo. It's because you're not tapped in. Got to plug back in. When you plug back in, you feel that acceleration in the spiritual realm, but it's you feel God still just leaning on you or something. Like he's leaning on you. So you're moving fast, but it's a comforting, safe, fast pace. But you're not freaking yourself out about it. Like, can I really handle this? Am I good enough? Oh my goodness, am I really ready? Right? If you're feeling like that, you've unplugged. You've unplugged. The only way you're going to be able to make it through this acceleration, the only way you're going to be able to sustain due season, you're going to have to always be plugged in. This is why you lose so many people along the way, because people are used to coming at you one way and used to always having you to, there's going to be certain times where God don't care about none of that. Don't care about none of that. And people are not going to understand that. So you're going to have to just be obedient. Kingdom spouses. Some people, some, not all, have the complete wrong perspective and insight on what God is doing and going to do. I'm not speaking anything against just traditional marriages. You know, you fall in love, whatever, you get married and you live happily ever after. I'm not speaking against it at all. But for those of you who you feel like that was never really it was never really pressing upon you, or you got divorced some years ago and said you would never do it again, but all of a sudden there's this pressing in the spiritual realm, there's this gnawing that God is connecting you to kingdom partners or kingdom spouses, and some of you, your mindset is just still the traditional way. Well, we love each other, we get married and have children, wait on Jesus, that type of thing. This is deeper. this is so much bigger than just love. In different ways. For some, God will connect it again for bigger missions, bigger purposes. One person may already have the platform. This could be a public figure, or this person may already have the platform. You may have the power. You may have already, so God may connect it where when you guys meet and collide, then there's just a bigger purpose. However God chooses to use it. For some of you, you're not tapped in because your insight is wrong. So God can't even get the correct downloads to you about what this thing is really about, why he's calling you to this person and vice versa, because your mind is so warped on just, I want to be married because society says I'm getting older. I want to be married just to say I have a spouse. I just want to have a wife, to have a warm a warm body in the bed at night, just because. So, and I'm not saying anything is wrong with the thinking, but in the times we're in right now, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. Some of you guys don't even realize how in bondage, how some of these individuals that God is calling you to, you're seeing it all flesh without even realizing that you're literally called to stand in the gap, to cover, because some of them are ignoring their call, and they know it. They know it, but again, everybody is not happy with the call. Most people probably run from the call. And so God has been trying to work on them and do things and convict and bring to their attention, like, listen, right? I called you to do this years ago, blah, 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 but now I need you in kingdom missions. Again, that doesn't always mean church or pastors, and right? I'm calling you for purpose. For purpose. So what you're doing 10 years ago, that may have been all you, or that may have been me, but the season have shifted. I don't no longer need you there. Called you there 10 years ago. The season is up. I now need you here. That they're ignoring the call. Of course, for different reasons. I mean, I can give you 5 at the top of my head, but they're ignoring the call. So God is pressing upon you that feeling that you're feeling, that feeling of anxiety, and that feeling of just, why won't God just do it? And that feeling of frustration. God is trying to get you to be fluid in your perspective, open your mind so he can give you proper insight. He may just need you to be standing for that person and cover them, pray for them, that God protects them until they answer the call. This thing is deep. There are many people right now who are outside of the will of God, and God really needs them front line. And so God may be calling you to cover this person, stand in the gap, pray for protection, pray for healing, pray for insight, pray for them to focus on God. But all you're worried about is, you got the wrong insight. You got the wrong insight. This thing is way deeper than your flesh. Way deeper than your flesh. You are probably called to save this person because God is tired of playing with them. But you are the not common denominator. You are the what is it, like a person who's in the middle who can you are the I can't think right now. But because of your connection Because of everything that God has instilled in you, because of the power that God has instilled in you, your prayers, you got to change your prayer. You got to change your prayers from God, just release them so we can just do this thing and I can be happy, man. You got to, it is so bigger than that. You got to get up out of that mindset about this fairy tale stuff. And God, please, Lord, cover, protect, and shield them, oh God, until they answer the call. Lord, please don't snatch whatever from them. Please don't send them back in the wilderness. However, if you got to send them back in the wilderness to get their attention, please do that. But please allow me to humbly stand in the gap to pray and cover. Please be patient. I command they focus on you. Do whatever you have to do to shake up the camp. However, Lord, please keep a hedge of protection around them. Do not allow the enemy to take them out. Right? That type of prayer. So when you're standing in the gap from that point of view, you're commanding that they focus on God. When they focus on God and then God do whatever he needs to do within them that you've been trying to get them to do, you're not going to get them to just whatever you're trying to get them to do. Only God can do that. Once God deals with them, then God will show them you. But you're too caught up on just the whatever. It was something else I wanted to talk about. What was it? You guys probably hear my rain, my YouTube rain in the background. It was 3 things. It was that. It was the acceleration, the kingdom spouse, and perspectives. It was something else, but I can't. It's not coming to my spirit. So obviously that was me wanting to say something. So I just wanted to share that. You guys have a great one. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.